reminds me the times, I think I've told you the story before, where we had we had playoffs where we didn't know actually who would even take on the championship. That you were not very sure that being a first seed, it guarantees your win if you're given the eighth seed. You get it? And it also reminds me that there are teams who are on top at that level. Looking at before City Oil, actually, we had Falcons, which had the highest number of trophies. And we're looking at teams like Warriors, who didn't even get relegated, but somehow just disappeared. Then we had teams like Kumba Marines, which also had like 2 championships, also disappeared. We had teams like Skyjammers, who had also, I think, 2 rings, also disappeared. We had Rhino, quite a miracle before actually the Miracle Eagles of recent. We had Miracle, which used to perform so well. So there's quite a number of things sometimes that worry in this league, that there are teams, to be honest, we shouldn't see going down.
Yeah.
Because right now, Power is in Division 2, literally playing, I think, for legacy purposes, staying relevant and things like that. But I think as the Football Association, I think it would be ideal to find a way of not letting these teams drown like that. For instance, a team, if today in history we are talking about Falcons, that before City Oil, we had Falcons as the biggest winner of the NBL. And today it's literally down there struggling.
Isn't it such a thing of time and seasons where things come and go? In the present day, City Oilers, we don't know 10 years, 15 years could look like.
You see, one thing about sports and times and seasons, in sports it's quite different. When you look at, let me say in the NBA, when you look at those teams, they've been there for quite some time. The most they've done, they've added on other teams and maybe changed names. But these teams have consistently stayed in the league. It's the same thing with the soccer teams you've seen, because they have teams as old as over 50 years. You get
that have stayed in the top flight.
Top flight, not even just top flight. They've consistently been playing even when they're at the bottom. So when you look at such situations in sports, it kills the morale of old fans. That, let me say, there was a guy who was a staunch Warriors fan that today, when, let me say, for instance, maybe he traveled, got busy, but now he comes back, he has some fans and finds out that, oh, Warriors is no more. You get? Because sometimes sponsoring teams, it's not only dependent on maybe management and sponsors. They are old players, well-wishers, old fans. Those are all sources of, sponsors, having a livelihood of associating with the team.
Yeah.
Coming back to communities, you get? Because Warriors was more of a Chambogo kind of, people who grew up in Chambogo, Nakawa, in those areas of Banda. They were very staunch Warriors fans. So today, if a community like that has lost a team which actually also groomed young men in the community, we are not just losing to the basketball side, but we are also losing on the community side.
Okay.
It's the same thing with if we see teams like Namongo came from the slums of Namongo, yes, but today it's in the top flight. So it's not just giving players, maybe.
And of course, the Namongo community is an integral part of the Blazers team, because we can see the support that they come
and it's growing, not just the basketball game, but even the community, giving hope to young men that
exactly.
And you're here the next thing,
and to bring you to the effect of what their championship last year meant to the entire community. They declared a public holiday in Namuongo.
Are you for real?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I was part of
the
that. Yeah, so we had to sit down and celebrate to just feel that championship. But to move you forward from that, I want for you to share with me what you look at semi-finals, the competition at the semi-finals part, having gone through these teams.
It's a little bit not clear right now.
Yeah.
Because some of the teams which I would have loved to see them meeting, they might not be able. I would have loved a game of Summit and maybe Res Life at the semis, something like that. I think it would have been a very fun game. And maybe if not Summit, I would have loved to see a game of City Oil and Res Life in the semis. But
You could also give a raise life to Namuongo. I know that Namuongo Blazers lost when
Yeah, in
they
the
went
second
to
round
the
they lost
yes
to Res Life.
yes.
Yes, now that Res Life beat Namongo, I would love to see Res Life try the same thing to City Oil. I know City Oil will, come backward up, but considering actually the Namongo Blazers lost to Res Life at their home ground,
Yes,
on the Entebbe Road, so I don't know if that was a factor
I
to the
think it
win.
would be a very 50-50 kind of game, seeing Raise Life and Summit.
Yeah, now such games,
It
the
could
interesting part
the
is,
winner.
yes, you can't even determine who would be winning the game. But from what I've been seeing about Summit, and when it comes to those times of the games, I don't like how sometimes the coaches behave. Yes, today I remember you had the news where they fired
Yeah,
Albert
they were fired.
Achiko.
Mm.
They fired out. I don't know if they fired him or he resigned, but he's no longer with them, with the assistant,
Yes.
and they brought in Julius Lutwamad, as the head coach to Summit. I don't know if he's going to do something different from Albert, but there are things I noticed from Summit, and I wouldn't think a person like Albert, who has, coached the game for all that time and played the game, would make such substitutes. So it felt like the decisions were not his. Me personally, from how I've known him coaching other teams, it felt like the decisions were not his. That they were more of influenced by maybe someone else. Because he starts off the game in a very nice way. The energy is there. The team coordination is there. Then out of the blue, you start seeing random funny substitutes. You get it.
Yeah.
Then before you know, he's no more with Summit. So I don't know. Was the problem his coaching techniques or something to do with management?
Wow. Now we are only few weeks away from playoffs. Regular season is almost coming to an end, and we are getting to the exciting part of the season, and those are the playoffs. Share with us who do you want to see at the finals, what the semi-final could look like for you. Are you vouching for Namuongo Blazers again, just as I do vouch for the Namuongo Blazers? Share with me in the comment section.
Sava wagira na muongo.